Local US Congresswoman and military veteran Tulsi Gabbard has been exposed for being an undercover Russian asset set to destroy American democracy and pave the way for Putin's takeover, is what I would say if I was being paid by the DNC to do massive damage control. Over the past 2 weeks, candidate Tulsi Gabbard, aka Mommy, has been smeared by the New York Times, CNN, and now, get this, Hillary Clinton. They all claim without evidence that Tulsi is some kind of undercover Russian plant, because everyone we don't like is working for Russia. This Russian asset thing has been thrown at Donald Trump for years, and even sometimes Bernie Sanders. It always seems to be thrown at the people who rally against the establishment and run on a non-intervention foreign policy. Weird how it be like that, huh? But recently there have been more Russia smears against Tulsi than I can count. And if you're not paying attention, they look like they're coming out of nowhere. But they're not. We're gonna take a look at these smears, and then I'm going to get into why they are happening more frequently than ever in such a short period of time. Put on your tinfoil hats, because this is going to get interesting.
Just 2 days ago, the New York Times put out an article saying that I'm a Russian asset and an Assad apologist and all these different smears. This morning, a CNN commentator said on national television that I'm an asset of Russia. Completely despicable.
This is the New York Times hit piece she's referring to. A huge chunk of this article, like 70% of it, I'm not even joking, is about how some right-wing people like and support Tulsi. Okay. And I'm really disappointed that she backpedaled on Medicare for All recently, but her policies are still clearly progressive policies. They're very similar to Bernie and Warren. She's more left-wing than most of the people running. Wouldn't it be a good thing that she can reach across the aisle and attract people who would normally vote Republican? They do this to Yang too. I literally don't give a shit that some dumbass like David Duke likes Tulsi. She denounced him and told him to fuck off, but that apparently doesn't matter. The media still runs with it. Foreign policy, for the most part, is pretty nonpartisan. Of course you're going to get many different types of people saying, hey, I agree, war bad. She's a very talented person, but I'm not sure. I just don't know what to say about her campaign exactly, said Mark Longabaugh, a Democratic strategist who worked with Ms. Gabbard when she was campaigning for Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont in 2016. There is potential upside for Ms. Gabbard. Drawing more attention could energize her donors and perhaps attract more supporters, extending her candidacy's lifespan. Yet there is only confusion for several Democratic officials, activists and party officials, who privately say they have been a little spooked by Ms. Gabbard. Rival campaigns worry about her unpredictable attacks if she participates in the debate, pointing to her sharp jabs at Senator Kamala Harris of California in an earlier matchup. They're a little spooked. Oh no, don't go after Kamala, I'm spooked. She's taken a series of policy steps which signal to the right that she has deep areas of alignment, said Neera Tanden, a longtime political advisor to Hillary Clinton. A longtime policy advisor to Hillary Clinton. Okay, opinion discarded. Thanks for playing. Disinformation experts have also pointed to instances of suspicious activity surrounding Ms. Gabbard's campaign. In particular, a Twitter hashtag, Kamala Harris got destroyed, that trended among Ms. Gabbard's supporters after the first Democratic debate, and appeared to be amplified by a coordinated network of bot-like accounts. But there's no evidence of coordination between these networks and the campaign itself. I'm done. I'm fucking done. Then, shortly after that, this happened on CNN.
There is a chance that Tulsi's not just working for the United States of America, but I digress. So,
oh, wait a minute. What does that mean?
That's
no,
a
I
hell of
firmly,
an allegation.
that's not just an allegation. I firmly believe that.
Message is coming now.
No, here, I know, watch the bots come on Twitter now. I firmly believe that Tulsi Gabbard stands on that stage is the antithesis to what the other 11 individuals stand for, especially when it comes to issues such as foreign policy. There is no question. Yeah. There is no question that Tulsi Gabbard, of all the 12, is a puppet for the Russian government.
So I'm sure you have actual, real evidence to back up that claim. You're not just outright claiming a sitting US Congresswoman is working for a foreign government with no proof, right? because that would be pretty fucked up. But that's not all. This morning, I woke up to dozens of tweets and messages from you guys telling me that Hillary Clinton, the woman, the myth, the legend herself, has perpetuated the Russian smear against Tulsi. It was only a matter of time until she jumped in. She saw Tulsi was weak from the New York Times and CNN smears and jumped right the fuck in, like a shark smelling blood in the water. I'm not making any predictions, but I think they've got their eye on somebody who is currently in the Democratic Party and are grooming her to be a third-party candidate, Clinton said, speaking on a podcast with former Obama advisor David Poloff. She's the favorite of the Russians. First off, I love how she never mentions Tulsi by her name. Like, that's right, bitch. Keep her name out your mouth. What's funny is I wouldn't even mind if Tulsi ran as a third-party candidate. She says she doesn't want to, but honestly she should. Her, Bernie, and Yang should start their own party and break away from the crusty, dusty-ass establishment Democrats. But they did this with Jill Stein, too. Jill had the audacity to not run as a Democrat, and guess what the Democrats did? They smeared her as a Russian plant. This is a modern-day Red Scare. This is McCarthyism. Everyone who goes against the establishment will be smeared as a Russian plant. It's fear-mongering and a way to otherize those who are not in the in crowd. Like Carlin said, it's a big club, and you ain't in it. As I'm writing this script, Tulsi responded to Hillary Clinton on Twitter, and oh my god, get your popcorn ready. Great! Thank you, Hillary Clinton. You, the queen of warmongers, embodiment of corruption, and personification of the rot that has sickened the Democratic Party for so long, have finally come out from behind the curtain. From the day I announced my candidacy, there has been a concerted campaign to destroy my reputation. We wondered who was behind it and why. Now we know. It was always you, through your proxies and powerful allies in the corporate media and war machine, afraid of the threat I pose. It's now clear that this primary is between you and me. Don't cowardly hide behind your proxies. Join the race directly. Holy shit! I know it's unironically sexist to call any fight between two women a catfight, but I'm gonna say it. This is the most epic catfight in political history, and I'm absolutely here for it. So where did this all come from? It sounds like she's been holding that in for years. It's because she has. I'm going to be bringing this up in another video I'm making about Bernie Sanders and the rigging of the 2016 election, but we also have to tell this story here, since Tulsi is heavily involved. Now, this gets a little tinfoily, admittedly, but if we're going to be spewing Ma-Russia conspiracies on national television with no pushback, I feel it's only fair to insert a different conspiracy. This was a letter sent to Tulsi Gabbard from the DNC that was exposed thanks to WikiLeaks. Keep in mind, this was before the primaries were over. We were very disappointed to hear that you would resign your position with the DNC so you could endorse Bernie Sanders, a man who has never been a Democrat before. When we met over dinner a couple of years ago, I was so impressed by your intellect, your passion, and commitment to getting things done on behalf of the American people. For you to endorse a man who has spent almost 40 years in public office with very few accomplishments doesn't fall in line with what we previously thought of you. Hillary Clinton will be our party's nominee, and you standing on ceremony to support the sinking Bernie Sanders ship is disrespectful to Hillary Clinton. Shortly after that, Tulsi Gabbard quit her high position in the DNC to support Bernie Sanders. She saw how corrupt they were and did not want any part of it. She refused to support Hillary Clinton, the party's choice nominee. And the establishment media was really booty bothered by it.
One quick political question. Are you still supporting Bernie Sanders for the Democratic presidential nomination?
I think there's a Democratic presumptive nominee at this point. There are a number of issues that I remain concerned about, and I look forward to discussing with you again in the future.
So you endorsing Hillary Clinton for the nomination?
I'm not prepared.
Are you in her camp yet?
I'm not prepared to do that. There are a lot of things that I'm looking at, in particular this issue that she has not moved on at all in this campaign, which is this commitment to continue this interventionist regime change policy in Syria that is proving to be so disastrous.
Should he drop out of the race?
I'm not going to go there. I respect Bernie Sanders and whatever decisions that he makes.
Since that day, the DNC has held a grudge against Tulsi, and everyone can see it. From the baseless Assad smears, to the vapid guilt by association smears, to the Russian smears. Just an ongoing onslaught of never-ending, factless, baseless smears from various liberal outlets. Some outlets which were exposed in the WikiLeaks for working with Clinton against Sanders behind the scenes. So why are there suddenly so many smears against Tulsi coming out this week? It might have to do with this video she posted the week prior.
I want to thank all of you so much for your support. I need to share something with you that's very important. There are so many of you who I've had the opportunity to meet in Iowa and New Hampshire who've expressed to me how frustrated you are that the DNC and the corporate media are essentially trying to usurp your role as voters in choosing who our Democratic nominee will be. I share your concerns, and I'm sure that all of our supporters throughout the country do as well. Now, the 2016 Democratic primary election was rigged by the DNC and their partners in the corporate media against Bernie Sanders.
They all started popping up after she threatened to boycott the debate and expose the Democratic Party for fucking over Bernie Sanders. The DNC has a vendetta against Tulsi for refusing to support Clinton and supporting Bernie instead, because everyone else on that debate stage supported Hillary in 2016, except Tulsi. But let's face it, it's more likely Tulsi's just getting smeared by powerful people who want to keep the military-industrial complex running. Our economy basically relies on endless war. Like George Orwell said, the war is not meant to be won. It is meant to be continuous. But that's just a theory.